Despite several military raids in the Tano Anya Forest Reserve, illegal mining activities persist with more intruders encroaching on the protected land. Clean Jobs, the legal concessionaire mandated to protect the reserve, recently sponsored a military operation that led to the seizure of 19 excavators. In a fresh raid this Tuesday, the company has once again moved to clamp down on the activity, this time seizing 4 more excavators and arresting some suspects. Well, before we bring you details of that story, I'll take you to the court where my colleague Latif is on standby to bring us some update on what's happening on the possible removal of the Chief Justice. Now, first, Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine has dismissed suggestions by his predecessor, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, that President Mahama should suspend ongoing consultations regarding the possible removal of the Chief Justice. According to Dr. Ayine, such a move will contradict the law, which prohibits interference with the execution of constitutional duties. Former Attorney General Dame, speaking to journalists at the last adjourned sitting, expressed the view that President Mahama ought to halt the consultation process he has initiated with the Council of State, now citing pending processes filed at the Supreme Court. However, responding to questions from my colleague Latif Idrisu at the Supreme Court on Wednesday, that'll be today, following yet another adjournment of the injunction application, Dr. Ayine insisted that the President's consultation process constitutes the exercise of a constitutional duty.
Well, I haven't spoken with the President yet, and I cannot give any definitive answer to the question whether the consultation will continue.
What's your advice to him because of the
the President and the Republic are my clients. I will not advise my client publicly.
The last time the former Attorney General spoke, he said he expects nothing but the President to hold on the processes. Is that what is happening?
Well, he has filed an application in court. The court is here to make an order. So if he says that the President must hold on, is he saying that the court has already granted an order in respect of which the President, must not continue the process, right? First of all, he has to understand that this is the performance of a constitutional duty, right? And the law is very clear that you cannot enjoin the performance of a constitutional or public obligation. And so, for me, I don't see the point that he's trying to make by saying that the President must hold on to the process of consultation.
His argument is that because of what is happening here at the Supreme Court, the President ought to hold on.
Well, that is why I have said the President is performing a constitutional duty, and the law is very clear that you cannot enjoin the performance of a public obligation.
What do you make of today's adjournment? The adjournment?
No, the adjournment is to May 6th. So, because one of the panel members was not, was unavoidably absent, and so the court has adjourned it to the 6th of May.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has adjourned hearing of the injunction applications challenging President Mahama's move to potentially remove Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo from office. The case, which was expected to proceed today, has been rescheduled to May 6. In a brief ruling, chairperson of the 5-member panel, Her Ladyship Justice Professor Henrietta Mensah-Bonsu, indicated the adjournment was due to unavoidable reasons. Now, our legal affairs correspondent, Latif Idrisu, joins us via Zoom for more. Latif, beyond the reason that the professor, Her Ladyship, had said, what more could be part of the reason why they adjourned today? If you can hear me, Latif.
So, prior to the hearing of this matter, we saw the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, and the former Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, called into conclave to have a meeting with the justices of the Supreme Court or members of this particular panel hearing the case. It took them a few minutes in there, and then when they come out, we picked the information that one of the panel members was not available And so the likelihood was that, as I reported on desk earlier, that the case might be adjourned. And that was what turned out to be the case. When the panel convened, the chairperson of the panel, her ladyship, Justice Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, made public reason why the case had to be adjourned. She mentioned that, and I'm quoting her, due to unavoidable problems that we have had, I'm sorry, the case has to be adjourned, unquote. And so that was the reason that was given. And we must also point out, we can mention the number of judges on this particular case and who was absent, reason why the case itself has been adjourned. So on this particular panel, you have His Ladyship Justice Ernest Yaojeu, His Ladyship Justice Richard Ajay Frimpong, Her Ladyship Justice Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, who I must say was chairperson for today's. We also have His Lordship Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu Asiedu and His Lordship Justice Yao Dako Asare. So His Lordship Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu Asiedu was the one who was not available for today's hearing. And the speculation is that that's the reason why the case has been adjourned to May 6th. MFA.
Seen the reaction of the Attorney General, but tell us the reaction also on the lawyers for the petitioner.
Well, unfortunately, we couldn't get hold of lawyer for the petitioner. That is the former Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame. He didn't avail himself for interview, but we managed to get a response from Dominic Ayine on the comments made by Godfred Yeboah-Dame at the last adjourned date. The position of Godfred Yeboah-Dame is that because processes have been filed here at the Supreme Court, hearing is already rolling out, the expectation is that the president must suspend the consultation process. In his response, Dr. Ayine, as you played earlier, he has made clear that the law also states clearly that you cannot enjoin someone who is undertaking or performing a constitutional duty. And the processes, the consultation process that has been initiated by the president is a constitutional duty which is being performed by the president. And so one cannot enjoin that process. Even though this case is here at the Supreme Court, the president has to go on with his consultation as far as these processes to potentially remove the Chief Justice from office is concerned. MFA.
Okay, well, before I let you go, anything else happening in the courts today?
At the Supreme Court, so before this case, there were two other cases, but it's not of public interest, so we wouldn't want to go into details as far as those particular cases are concerned.
Thank you, Lateef. Away from the court.